My beloved child, listen to me in the quiet place of your heart, because not every feeling that rises within you is my confirmation. Not every stirring is a sign. Not every open door is an invitation. Not every person who awakens something tender within you has been sent to build covenant with you. There are moments when chemistry can feel like destiny, when a conversation can feel like home, when attention can feel like healing, when someone's presence can awaken memory, longing, attraction, and hope all at once. But I am teaching you to slow down before you name it love, before you call it promise, before you attach my name to something I have not yet confirmed by peace, truth, purity, timing, and light. I do not condemn you for wanting to be loved. I do not rebuke you for wanting to be noticed, chosen, understood, pursued, held with care, and seen without having to explain every wound in your heart. I know the places in you that have waited quietly. I know the ache of being strong for so long and still desiring a place where your heart can finally rest. I know how deeply you desire a love that does not leave, a love that does not confuse you, a love that does not make you beg for clarity, a love that feels safe enough for your tenderness to breathe. I am not ashamed of that desire in you. I created you with the capacity to love, to bond, to delight, to receive affection, and to walk in companionship. But my child, desire must be shepherded by truth, because what you desire most deeply can also become the place where you are most easily deceived if you do not bring it into my presence. Chemistry may get your attention, but chemistry cannot confirm covenant. Attraction may awaken your emotions, but attraction cannot prove purity. A strong connection may make your heart wonder, but it cannot prove timing. A familiar feeling may make you think, this must be from God, but familiarity alone cannot reveal whether something is holy, healthy, or sent by me. There are connections that feel powerful because they touch an unhealed place. There are conversations that feel deep because they answer a loneliness you have not brought fully before me. There are people who seem like answers because they arrive when your heart is tired of waiting. And there are moments when your longing can begin to speak so loudly that you mistake its voice for mine. So let your heart become still. Do not rush to decide. Do not rush to attach. Do not rush to interpret every feeling as direction. Ask the question beneath the feeling. Is this connection drawing you nearer to me, or is it quietly pulling your attention away from me? Is it producing peace, or is it producing pressure? Is it bringing your heart into the light, or is it creating secrecy, fantasy, and inward unrest? Is it being carried by my spirit, or is it being fueled by emotional hunger, loneliness, fear of being alone, or the ache of wanting someone to finally stay? As it is written, keep your heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. I do not tell you to guard your heart because your heart is bad. I tell you to guard it because it is precious. I do not ask you to slow down because I want to deny you love. I ask you to slow down because I want you to recognize the love that comes from me when it arrives. What comes from me will not require confusion as its foundation. What comes from me will not ask you to ignore warning signs so that you can keep the feeling alive. What comes from me will be able to stand in prayer, in counsel, in patience, in purity, and in peace. And if you are listening to this because your heart is asking me for relationship discernment, pause even now and let this become more than a message. Let it become a surrender. Like this video as a quiet sign that you are asking me to teach your heart how to discern. Subscribe for messages that help you guard what I have placed within you. And write in the comments, Lord, teach me to choose peace over pressure. Let those words be more than a sentence. Let them be a prayer rising from the place where you have been confused, anxious, hopeful, afraid, and tired of being led by emotion alone. My beloved child, I am not taking love from you. I am teaching you how to recognize love without losing yourself. I am teaching you how to desire without bowing to pressure, how to feel without surrendering wisdom, how to wait without despair, and how to trust that the love I confirm will never require you to abandon my peace in order to keep it. Walk slowly with me here. Let your heart become still before you call. A stirred heart is not always a surrendered heart, my beloved child. There is a difference between something that awakens your emotions and something that has been confirmed by my spirit. There is a difference between being moved and being led. There is a difference between feeling deeply and walking rightly. I know that when your heart has been quiet for a long season, even a small touch of attention can feel like rain after drought. I know that when someone sees something in you, speaks gently to you, listens to you, laughs with you, or makes you feel chosen after you have felt overlooked, your heart can begin to tremble with hope. But I am teaching you that hope must come and kneel before me before it becomes direction. Do not call every trembling in your heart a yes from heaven. Do not call every emotional awakening confirmation. Do not call every sudden attachment a promise. A person may move you emotionally while still pulling you away from prayer. A connection may feel powerful while making you impatient. A conversation may seem deep while weakening your purity. A desire may feel beautiful while making you less accountable, less still, less guarded, less willing to wait for my timing. And when something begins to make you hide, hurry, compromise, fantasize, or ignore the counsel I have already placed around your life, you must slow down and ask whether your heart has been stirred or whether your path has truly been confirmed. What comes from me will not demand confusion as the price of closeness. What comes from me will not demand secrecy as the price of affection. What comes from me will not demand anxiety as the proof of love. What comes from me will not make you feel that you must abandon wisdom in order to keep someone's attention. What comes from me will not require you to become spiritually smaller, quieter, weaker, or more hidden from my light in order to keep a relationship alive. My child, I do not confirm something by making you restless. I do not lead you by making you frantic. I do not bless you by teaching you to live in fear that one wrong pause, one honest boundary, one moment of obedience, or one season of waiting will cause the person to leave. A feeling can stir you, but confirmation from me will steady you. Intensity can make your heart race, but my peace will teach your heart to rest. Attraction can create desire, but my spirit produces righteousness. Chemistry can create hunger, but my confirmation produces clarity, patience, accountability, purity, and a deeper nearness to me. When I confirm a path, I do not only touch your emotions, I also bring your will into surrender, your mind into truth, your body into honor, your relationships into light, and your future into peace. I do not merely give you a feeling that says, I want this. I give you the grace to say, Lord, if this is from you, let it stand in your presence, and if it is not from you, give me the courage to release it. As it is written, test the spirits to see whether they are from God. Do you see, my child? I did not tell you to believe every spirit because it sounds tender. I did not tell you to follow every impulse because it feels urgent. I did not tell you to receive every promise because it touches a wound you have carried for a long time. Test the spirits, test the words, test the fruit, test the timing, test the peace. Test the way your heart behaves when that person is near and when that person is silent. Test whether this connection makes you run to me or run from me. Test whether it strengthens obedience or makes disobedience feel excusable. Test whether it brings your life into the light or teaches you to protect shadows because you are afraid of losing what you want. There are attachments that come suddenly and try to make themselves sound like destiny. There are emotions that rise quickly and say, this must be special because it feels so strong. There are fears that whisper, hold on tightly or you will lose them. There is pressure that says, decide now, answer now, commit now, open your heart now, ignore the warning now, because if you slow down, they may walk away. But holy wisdom does not speak like panic. My voice does not need to threaten you in order to guide you. My peace does not need to chase you in order to keep you. When fear says, hold on or lose them, I say, return to me. When pressure says, decide now, I say, slow down. When anxiety says, this is your only chance, I say, let peace guard your heart. As it is written, the peace of God, which passes all understanding, shall guard your hearts and minds through Christ Jesus. My peace is not weakness. My peace is not indifference. My peace is a guard. My peace stands at the gate of your heart and refuses entry to what would rule you through fear. My peace watches over your mind when desire tries to become obsession. My peace steadies your emotions when longing tries to become Lord. And if a connection keeps breaking through the guard of peace, if it keeps leaving you torn, double-minded, hidden, afraid, and unable to rest in me, then do not silence the guard and call it love. Do not push aside the warning and call it faith. Do not baptize your unrest with spiritual language and say, God must be testing me, when I may be revealing that something in this connection has not come under my lordship. I do not condemn you for feeling strongly. I do not shame you for being moved. I do not rebuke you. because your heart noticed someone, hoped for someone, missed someone, or wondered whether this person could become part of your future. I am not cruel with your tenderness. I know how long you have waited. I know how many prayers have come from the hidden place. I know the moments when you asked me if love would ever come in a way that did not wound you, confuse you, or require you to become someone you are not. But because I love you, I will not let intensity become your master. Because I love you, I will teach you to distinguish between a heart that is stirred and a path that is confirmed. So bring the feeling back to me. Bring the name back to me. Bring the conversation, the memory, the hope, the dream, the fear, the attraction, the ache, the question, and the possibility back to me. Do not be afraid to let my light touch what you desire. If it is from me, my light will not destroy it. If it is from me, patience will not ruin it. If it is from me, purity will not weaken it. If it is from me, counsel will not expose it as false. If it is from me, peace will not disappear every time wisdom asks a question. What comes from me can survive being surrendered to me. My beloved child, you are not being asked to stop loving. You are being taught to love with discernment. You are not being asked to become cold. You are being taught to become steady. You are not being asked to fear relationship. You are being taught to refuse any connection that makes anxiety feel like devotion and pressure feel like proof. Let your heart be tender, but let it be led. Let your desire be honest, but let it be surrendered. Let your emotions speak, but do not let them sit on the throne. Return to me, slow down, and let my peace guard your heart. What I confirm will not merely stir you for a moment. What I confirm will steady you for the path. My beloved child, there are connections that do not enter your life loudly. They do not always come with obvious rebellion, obvious darkness, obvious danger, or immediate destruction. Sometimes what is counterfeit enters gently. Sometimes it comes with words that seem to touch the very place where you have been wounded. Sometimes it comes with attention that feels like healing because you have gone so long without being seen. Sometimes it comes with kindness that feels rare, with conversations that feel deep, with spiritual words that make you feel as though this person must understand the sacred parts of you. And because your heart has been waiting, because your heart has been tired, because your heart has prayed through lonely nights and asked me when love would come, chemistry can begin to sound like confirmation before wisdom has been allowed to speak. I do not blame you for noticing tenderness. I do not condemn you for being moved by someone who seems to understand your pain. I do not rebuke you for feeling drawn toward a person whose presence seems to quiet an ache you have carried for a long time. I know the wounds that make empathy feel like shelter. I know the memories that make attention feel like rescue. I know the silent places in you that have whispered, maybe this is finally the answer. But I am teaching you that not every person who understands your wound is assigned to heal your life. Not every person who speaks your language is walking in my spirit. Not every person who makes you feel safe for a moment is able to walk with you in holiness, truth, patience, purity, and covenant. The enemy does not always use what repels you. Sometimes he uses what resembles what you desire. Sometimes deception comes wrapped in tenderness. Sometimes bondage comes with soft words. Sometimes confusion comes with spiritual language. Sometimes emotional danger enters through the door of sudden safety. And this is why I tell you to test the spirits, my child. Because if deception always looked like darkness, you would not need discernment. If every counterfeit announced itself as counterfeit, your heart would not need guarding. But there are voices that sound gentle and still lead you away from peace. There are connections that seem understanding and still weaken obedience. There are relationships that speak of destiny while quietly training your heart to ignore my warning. Do not mistake pressure for passion. Do not mistake anxiety for love. Do not mistake constant emotional movement for the leading of my spirit. When you begin to need reassurance so often that your peace rises and falls with every message, slow down. When you lose sleep because your mind is rehearsing every word, every delay, every silence, every small change in tone, return to me. When you check your phone with fear, when your heart tightens because you do not know whether they will answer, when your joy becomes dependent on their attention, when your obedience becomes negotiable because you are afraid to lose the connection, do not call that my promise. Bring it into the light. There are red flags your emotions may try to explain away because the chemistry feels strong. There are compromises your longing may try to rename as grace. There are convictions you may begin to shrink, not because I changed my word, but because your heart is trying to make room for someone who does not honor it. You may start hiding what you once brought freely before me. You may start praying less honestly. You may start defending what you once would have discerned. You may feel more distracted in worship, more restless in silence, more divided in your inner life, and still say, "But it feels so real." My beloved child, a connection can feel real and still not be righteous. A feeling can be powerful and still not be pure. A bond can look sweet and still weaken your spirit. Do you see, my child? The uneasiness in you may not be fear of love. It may not be old pain trying to sabotage something good. It may not be you being too guarded, too cautious, too slow, or too hard to love. Sometimes the discomfort is my spirit placing a holy pressure against an unholy bond. Sometimes the heaviness is not insecurity, it is warning. Sometimes the loss of peace is not because love has arrived and frightened you, but because something has entered that wants access to your heart without surrendering to my lordship. Do not silence my spirit because your emotions want an answer quickly. Do not rebuke your discernment because your loneliness wants relief. Do not call my protection anxiety when I am trying to keep you free. As it is written, where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. True love does not make you feel imprisoned by fear. True love does not compete with me for the throne of your heart. True love does not require disobedience in order to survive. True love does not ask you to hide, manipulate, compromise, beg, chase, pretend, or abandon yourself so the relationship can continue. What comes from me will not pull you into secrecy and then tell you to call it intimacy. What comes from me will not make purity feel like a threat. What comes from me will not make obedience feel like the enemy of love. What comes from me will not require you to lose my presence in order to keep a person. So, if a connection is producing pressure, secrecy, and spiritual distance, do not rush to call it promise. If it makes you smaller in your convictions, weaker in your prayer, restless in your mind, and afraid in your heart, do not ignore the fruit. Fruit tells the truth when feelings try to argue. Peace tells the truth when chemistry tries to persuade. Light tells the truth when secrecy tries to protect itself. I am not asking you to be suspicious of every tender thing. I am asking you to let every tender thing pass through my presence. My beloved child, slow down when attraction starts sounding like a sign but begins producing pressure. Return when desire becomes louder than peace. Come back when your heart starts orbiting a person more than it rests in me. I will teach you to recognize love that does not steal your freedom, affection that does not demand your disobedience, and connection that does not make you lose yourself. What is from me can stand in the light. What is from me will draw you nearer to me. What is from me will not compete with me for the throne of your heart. My beloved child, now let me bring your heart to the test that many emotions cannot survive, but every true confirmation from me can endure. I am not asking only, does this person excite you? I am not asking only, do they make you feel wanted, noticed, awakened, or alive in places that have felt quiet for a long time? I am asking, when this connection is brought into my light, does it remain clean? When it is placed before my presence, does it remain peaceful? When wisdom asks questions, does it become angry? When timing requires patience, does it remain steady? When purity places a boundary, does it honor the boundary or try to break it with spiritual words and romantic pressure? This is the peace test, my child. Not the thrill test, not the fantasy test, not the chemistry test, not the test of whether your heart races when their name appears. Peace is deeper than excitement. Peace is stronger than attraction. Peace is holier than the feeling of being desired. Peace is not numbness, because I do not ask you to become dead inside in order to discern rightly. Peace is not avoidance, because running away from every feeling is not the same as being led by my spirit. Peace is not fantasy, because imagining a future that has not been surrendered to me can make you feel calm for a moment while still pulling you away from truth. Peace is the settled witness within you that says, I am not being dragged out of alignment with God to keep this. As it is written, the peace of God, which passes all understanding, shall guard your hearts and minds through Christ Jesus. Do you see, my beloved child, my peace does not merely comfort you. My peace guards you. My peace stands like a holy watchman at the gate of your heart and mind. It does not only soothe your tears after confusion has wounded you, it exposes what is trying to enter without permission. It governs what your emotions would otherwise chase. It protects your mind when longing begins to build stories without truth. It protects your heart when attention begins to feel like oxygen. It protects your future when your present desire wants to make a covenant before your spirit has been made still. So ask with honesty, my child, does this relationship make prayer easier or harder? Does it make you run to me with openness, or does it make you hide certain thoughts, certain conversations, certain compromises, certain hopes, because you already know my light will question them? Does this connection make your obedience stronger, or does it make obedience feel like a threat to love? Does it honor your boundaries, or does it make you feel guilty for having them? Does it welcome wise counsel, or does it tell you that no one else can understand what you have? Does it produce patience, or does it demand that you decide before peace is spoken? Does it help you become more whole, more stable, more rooted, more honest, more free, or does it make you more anxious, more dependent, more divided, more afraid of losing attention? I do not give you peace so that you can decorate your confusion with religious language. I give you peace so that you can recognize what belongs and what does not belong. If something is from me, it can survive my light. If something is from me, it can survive my timing. If something is from me, it can survive wise counsel. If something is from me, it can survive purity. If something is from me, it can survive being slowed down. But if a connection can only survive in secrecy, if it can only continue when no one asks questions, if it can only grow when boundaries are weakened, if it can only feel strong when you silence conviction, then do not call its fragility destiny. Do not call its pressure passion. Do not call its fear love. There is a kind of pressure that knows how to dress itself in romantic language. It may say, if you loved me, you would. It may say, God told me you are mine, while refusing to honor the way I am leading your heart. It may say, do not let people come between us, when what it truly means is, do not let wisdom, counsel, accountability, or light interrupt my access to you. My child, be careful when someone uses my name to remove your freedom. Be careful when someone calls your boundary rejection, your patience disobedience, your discernment fear, and your need for counsel a lack of faith. What comes from me will not need manipulation to remain. What comes from me will not force you to ignore the guardians I have placed around your life. True confirmation does not panic when tested. True love does not become offended by purity. True love does not accuse wisdom of being the enemy. True love does not demand that you prove devotion by abandoning peace. What comes from me can wait without punishing you. What comes from me can honor your no without withdrawing love as a weapon. What comes from me can be brought into prayer without becoming darker. What comes from me can stand before Scripture and not shrink. What comes from me will not ask you to move faster than the pace at which your soul can remain whole. I know there are times when you fear that if you slow down, you will lose the person. I know there are times when your heart whispers, what if this is my chance? And if I ask too many questions, it will disappear. But listen to me, my beloved child. What I am building for you will not be destroyed by obedience. What I am confirming will not collapse because you choose purity. What I am sending will not flee because you invite peace to judge the foundation. If slowing down causes something to leave, then its departure may be an answer. If bringing it into the light causes it to resist, then the resistance is revealing what affection tried to hide. Do not be afraid of the peace test. Do not be afraid to pray, Lord, if this is from you, let it stand. And if it is not from you, let it be exposed. That prayer is not dangerous to what I have ordained. It is only dangerous to what has been pretending. Bring me the messages. Bring me the motives. Bring me the dreams you have built in secret. Bring me the pressure you feel but have not wanted to name. Bring me the fear of being alone. Bring me the longing to be chosen. Bring it all into my presence, and let my peace guard you there. My beloved child, I am not trying to take joy from you. I am teaching your joy to live in truth. I am not trying to make love feel cold. I am teaching love to be clean, free, patient, honest, and holy. Let peace do its work. Let counsel speak. Let Scripture examine. Let timing reveal. What I confirm will not only awaken your heart, it will guard your heart. It will not only touch your emotions, it will draw your whole life nearer to me. My beloved child, do not misunderstand what I am doing when I ask you to guard your heart. I am not asking you to become cold. I am not asking you to become suspicious of every kind word, every gentle conversation, every beautiful possibility, or every person who comes near you with tenderness. I am not teaching you to live with your hands clenched, your spirit hardened, your emotions buried so deeply that no one can ever reach you again. I know what has wounded you. I know what has disappointed you. I know the places where trust became costly, where openness became pain, where affection became confusion, and where you wondered whether the safest thing would be to stop feeling at all. But listen to me in the deepest place of your heart. I am not taking away your tenderness. I am teaching your tenderness to walk with wisdom. A heart that knows how to love is not weakness. A heart that still hopes after disappointment is not foolishness. A heart that can still feel, still care, still desire, still pray, still believe that love can be holy is precious before me. But precious things must be guarded. Sacred things must be tended. A garden does not become less beautiful because it has a fence. A vineyard does not lose its fruitfulness because there is a wall around it. The fence does not exist because the garden is dead. The fence exists because the garden is alive, valuable, fruitful, and worth protecting. As it is written, keep your heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. Do you see, my child? I did not say, neglect your heart. I did not say, bury your heart. I did not say, despise your heart. I said, keep it, watch over it, tend it. Guard what flows from it, because your heart is not a common place for every passing desire, every attractive voice, every sudden chemistry, and every untested promise to enter and rule. There is a difference between being open and giving access. You can be kind without handing someone authority over your peace. You can be gracious without giving someone ownership of your time. You can listen without allowing their words to become the law of your future. You can care without surrendering your body, your obedience, your convictions, your prayer life, and your ability to say no. Openness says, I will treat you with honor. Access says, you may influence the deepest parts of me. And my beloved child, not everyone who receives your kindness should be given access to your inner court. Not everyone who enjoys your attention should be allowed to shape your decisions. Not everyone who awakens desire should be trusted with the direction of your life. This is why I am teaching you boundaries. Not boundaries that make you bitter, but boundaries that keep you free. Not boundaries that punish another person, but boundaries that protect what I am forming in you. Not boundaries that reject love, but boundaries that refuse to let confusion dress itself as intimacy. A boundary says, I will not move faster than peace. A boundary says, I will not give covenant-level loyalty to a connection that has not shown covenant-level fruit. A boundary says, I will not let chemistry outrun character. A boundary says, I will not let longing silence discernment. A boundary says, I will not abandon obedience to keep someone close who is not willing to honor the God who holds my heart. Do not let your tenderness become a door without hinges, my child. Do not let loneliness become the reason you excuse what should be examined. Do not let attraction make you ignore inconsistency. Do not let someone's need for you become the reason you forget your need for me. There are people who will enjoy your warmth, but resist your wisdom. There are people who will want your affection, but not your boundaries. There are people who will want the comfort of your presence without the responsibility of walking in truth. There are people who will ask for access before they have shown character, ask for trust before they have shown fruit, ask for loyalty before they have shown surrender. Slow down. Fruit must be observed over time. Character is not proven in one conversation. Spiritual language is not the same as spiritual maturity. I do not condemn you for wanting to be chosen. I do not shame you for wanting to be loved tenderly, consistently, and without fear. I created your heart with the capacity to give and receive love, but I will not let your longing become a leash around your soul. I will not let your desire for connection train you to betray your own peace. I will not let you call anxiety, devotion, overexposure, vulnerability, or unguarded access faith. True vulnerability is not the absence of wisdom. True love does not require you to tear down every fence to prove that your heart is sincere. What comes from me will honor the gate. What comes from me will respect the pace. What comes from me will not accuse your guardedness when I am the one teaching you to keep what is holy. So be tender, but be watchful. Be kind, but be rooted. Be hopeful, but be discerning. Let your words be gracious, but let your yes be submitted to me. Let your heart remain soft, but do not place it in the hands of someone who has not learned how to handle sacred things. You do not need to become hard in order to be protected. You do not need to become afraid in order to be wise. You do not need to close yourself to love in order to obey me. You only need to let me stand at the gate with you. My beloved child, guarding your heart is not the burial of your tenderness. It is the consecration of your tenderness. It is love learning to walk in the light. It is desire learning to bow before truth. It is hope learning patience. It is affection learning holiness. Walk with me here. Let me teach you where to open, where to wait, where to pause, where to say no, and where to remain still until peace speaks. A precious garden can still bloom behind a holy fence. Your heart can still love deeply while being guarded wisely, and what I bring into your life will not require you to destroy the fence in order to prove that the love is real. My beloved child, I have not left you without mirrors. I have written warnings in the lives of those who walked before you, not so that you would judge them from a distance, but so that you would recognize the same dangers when they come near your own heart. Scripture is not only a record of what happened long ago, it is a lamp for the path beneath your feet. It shows you what desire can do when it outruns obedience. It shows you what agreement can cost when it is made without prayer. It shows you how hearing is learned, how discernment is formed, how love is protected when it walks in honor and not in haste. As it is written, these things were written for our instruction, that through patience and comfort of the Scriptures we might have hope. Look at Samson, my child. I gave him strength, calling, purpose, and a set-apart life, yet he allowed attraction to bring him again and again into places where discernment should have stopped him. Delilah did not have to overpower him with a sword. She pressed him with words. She wore down his resistance. She touched the place where desire and pride had not been surrendered, and little by little, what should have remained guarded became exposed. What should have been consecrated became common. What should have been protected in obedience became traded in the atmosphere of seduction, pressure, and emotional manipulation. His strength was not lost in one moment only. It was drained through repeated compromise, through the refusal to listen, through the belief that he could remain close to danger and still rise with the same power as before. Do you see, my child? Attraction without discernment does not always destroy you suddenly. Sometimes it drains you slowly. It makes you tired in your spirit before you notice you are weaker. It blurs your calling before you admit you have been distracted. It makes you vulnerable in the very place where you were meant to be guarded. If a connection keeps pressing past what I have called holy, if it keeps asking for what should not be given, if it keeps making your consecration feel inconvenient, do not call that love. Do not call that destiny. Do not say, I can handle it, when your peace is already leaving. Samson thought he could rise as before, but he did not know that strength had departed. My beloved child, do not wait until you are bound to admit that something was draining you. Then look at Joshua and the Gibeonites. They came with old sacks, worn-out sandals, dry bread, and a story that seemed reasonable. Nothing about their appearance looked like immediate danger. They did not come with open hostility. They came with persuasion. They came with evidence. They came with an explanation that seemed harmless enough to believe. And Israel looked at what was in front of them, listened to what was said, and made agreement without asking counsel from me. As it is written, they asked not counsel at the mouth of the Lord. What looked practical still needed prayer. What looked convincing still needed discernment. What seemed harmless still carried consequence because agreement was made before my voice was sought. Do you see, my child? Not everything that appears reasonable is righteous for you. Not everything that sounds sincere is sent by me. Not every open door is an invitation, and not every request for trust should become covenant. There are connections that come with explanations, with proof, with stories that stir your compassion, with words that make you feel unkind if you pause. There are people who may not look dangerous, who may not speak harshly, who may not seem like a threat, and yet your heart must still ask me before agreement. Do not let appearances make the decision for you. Do not let sympathy replace prayer. Do not let urgency replace counsel. Before you give your yes, bring the matter before me. A relationship may look simple on the outside and still require spiritual examination before your heart is joined to it. And remember Samuel, my beloved child. When he was young, he heard a voice in the night, but at first he did not know that I was calling him. He ran to Eli because he had not yet learned how to distinguish my voice. He was not rebellious. He was not hard-hearted. He was simply untrained in hearing, and I did not despise him for needing to learn. I called again. I waited. I allowed instruction to come. And then he was taught to say, "Speak, Lord, for your servant hears." Discernment was developed in him. Recognition grew through practice. He learned that not every sound should be answered in the same way, and that my voice brings him into obedience, reverence, and truth. Do you see, my child? I do not condemn you, because you are still learning the difference between inner noise, emotional desire, old fear, loneliness, and the voice of your shepherd. I know that sometimes your longing speaks loudly. I know that sometimes anxiety imitates warning, and desire imitates peace, and fear imitates wisdom, and fantasy imitates hope. This is why you must keep returning to me. This is why you must not build your future on the first sound that moves you. My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. Hearing me is not the same as being stirred. Hearing me will lead you into obedience. Hearing me will bring you back to truth. Hearing me will never require you to betray Scripture, purity, peace, or the wisdom I have placed around your life. Now look at Ruth and Boaz, and see the contrast. Ruth was vulnerable. She was widowed, displaced, and in need of covering. Boaz had power, position, and opportunity, yet he did not exploit her need. He did not rush her in secret. He did not use her vulnerability to satisfy himself. He honored process. He spoke blessing. He protected her dignity. He acted within community witness. He considered what was right, what was lawful, what was honorable, and what preserved her future. He did not treat her tenderness as something to take advantage of. He covered without controlling. He noticed without consuming. He moved with integrity, timing, and public righteousness. Do you see, my child? Godly love does not use your vulnerable season as an opportunity for hidden access. Godly love does not rush to possess what I am still healing. Godly love honors your dignity when your heart is exposed. It respects process. It welcomes covering. It can stand before witnesses. It does not fear wise community because it has no secret agenda to protect. What comes from me will not exploit your loneliness. What comes from me will not make your need the doorway to compromise. What comes from me will handle your story with reverence, not appetite. So let Scripture teach you, my beloved child. Desire alone is not enough. Chemistry alone is not enough. Tears, longing, attraction, late-night conversations, and the feeling of being seen are not enough. Love must be tested by character, wisdom, timing, obedience, peace, purity, and the fruit that remains when emotion becomes quiet. Learn from Samson and guard what is consecrated. Learn from Joshua and pray before agreement. Learn from Samuel and let your ear be trained. Learn from Ruth and Boaz and recognize love that honors process instead of exploiting vulnerability. I am not asking you to fear love. I am teaching you to recognize the kind of love that can live in my light. Walk slowly, my child. Walk wisely. What I confirm will not be offended by Scripture, and what I give will never ask you to abandon obedience in order to keep it. My beloved child, when I close a door that your emotions wanted to keep open, do not quickly call it rejection. When communication begins to fade, when the messages become fewer, when the warmth you once felt begins to cool, when the person who once seemed so present becomes distant, do not immediately decide that you have been forgotten, unwanted, or cast aside. There are silences that feel like wounds, but they are really coverings. There are endings that feel like punishment, but they are really rescue. There are closed doors that ache in the moment because your heart had already begun to imagine a future there. But I saw what that future would cost you if I allowed your emotions to build without my peace. I know you may miss the attention. I know you may miss the routine, the sound of their name, the waiting for their message, the comfort of being noticed, the way your heart lifted when they seemed to choose you. I know you may miss the version of them you hoped was real, the version you prayed would become consistent, the version you defended in your mind when confusion began to rise. I know you may miss not only who they were, but who you wanted them to become. And I do not mock that grief. I do not rebuke you for feeling the absence. I do not condemn you because your heart is still adjusting to a space where their presence used to be. But listen to me, my beloved child. Missing something does not mean it was meant to remain. Grieving something does not mean I was wrong to remove it. Do not call my protection abandonment. Do not call the breaking of an illusion a loss. Do not call deliverance loneliness. Do not call the closing of a door failure when I am the one who knew what was forming behind it. Sometimes I remove what your emotions wanted to keep because your spirit was becoming weary while your heart was still trying to be hopeful. Sometimes I allow communication to fade because the connection was feeding your dependency more than your peace. Sometimes I let a person become distant because their nearness was quietly training you to abandon yourself, to silence your convictions, to ignore your discomfort, to over-explain your needs, to shrink your boundaries, and to accept crumbs of attention as though they were covenant love. What I remove from your hands may be the very thing that was chaining your heart. What you called connection may have been becoming captivity. What you called hope may have been becoming delay. What you called patience may have been becoming self-neglect. What you called loyalty may have been becoming fear of letting go. And because I love you, I will not always let you keep what keeps weakening your discernment. I will not always allow you to remain attached to what makes you anxious, divided, restless, and spiritually dull. I will not let your longing become a prison simply because the prison has a familiar voice. There are relationships that do not destroy you loudly. They drain you quietly. They make you check your worth by another person's consistency. They make your peace rise and fall with someone else's attention. They make you pray less honestly because you are afraid I will ask you to surrender what you are trying to keep. They make you feel alive for a moment, then unstable for days. They make you abandon the gentle warnings I placed within you because your emotions keep saying, maybe this time it will be different. My child, when I step between you and that cycle, I am not being cruel. I am rescuing your peace before your heart becomes more entangled. As it is written, I lead you beside still waters. I restore your soul. Do you see, my child? I do not lead you into waters that constantly trouble your spirit and call that love. I do not restore your soul by binding it to confusion. I do not heal you by teaching you to beg for clarity from someone who benefits from your uncertainty. My love restores. My love steadies. My love brings your heart back into truth. If something continually pulls you away from stillness, if something keeps making you chase, fear, overthink, compromise, and question whether you are too much for wanting peace, then do not be surprised when I begin to loosen its hold. You may say, but Lord, I prayed for them. You may say, I thought this was a sign. You may say, why would you let me feel so deeply if it was not meant to stay? My beloved child, depth of feeling is not the same as divine permission. Tears are not always confirmation. Attachment is not always covenant. Sometimes what you felt deeply revealed a place in you that needed healing, not a person you were meant to marry, pursue, or hold. Sometimes the relationship exposed your longing to be chosen so that I could show you where your identity had become vulnerable. Sometimes the ache is not evidence that you lost your promise, but evidence that I am touching the place where you were beginning to make a person your peace. So, let the silence speak what you were afraid to hear. Let the closed door protect what your desire could not protect. Let the fading communication reveal what consistency would have hidden for a little longer. If they could only remain while you carried the weight alone, if they could only stay while you ignored your boundaries, if they could only draw near when you made yourself smaller, if they could only love you in secret, in pressure, in confusion, or in uncertainty, then their leaving is not the destruction of your future. It may be the mercy that preserves it. I am not removing love from you. I am removing what was pretending to be love while costing you peace. I am not proving that you are unworthy. I am proving that your heart is too precious to be trained by instability. I am not leaving you empty. I am clearing the place where confusion sat like an idol and called itself hope. Let me have what I have removed. Let me have the memories you keep rehearsing. Let me have the imagined future. Let me have the questions that wake you in the night. Let me have the part of you that still wants to reach back, not because peace is leading you, but because absence feels frightening. Walk slowly now, my beloved child. Do not rush to replace what I have removed. Do not run back to the door because silence feels unfamiliar. Do not interpret the ache as instruction to return. Bring the ache to me. Bring the loneliness to me. Bring the disappointment to me. I know how to hold a heart that is grieving and still lead it wisely. Some closed doors are not punishment. Some closed doors are my hand rescuing you before you call bondage belonging. Trust me here. What I remove in mercy, I will not waste. What I separate you from, I will heal you after. And when your peace returns, you will understand that I was not taking love from you. I was teaching you never again to lose yourself in order to keep it. My beloved child, the love that comes from me will not compete with me for the throne of your heart. It will not ask you to choose between my voice and their attention. It will not require you to quiet the convictions I have placed within you so that another person can feel unchallenged. It will not make you feel as though obedience is a threat to the relationship, prayer is an interruption, holiness is too much, or peace is something you must sacrifice in order to be loved. What I confirm will draw you nearer to me, not farther from me. What I give will make room for my presence, my timing, my truth, and my correction. What comes from me will not be offended when you bring it into the light. Do not be afraid, my child, when I teach you to examine love by its fruit. I am not against love, I am love. I am the one who formed your heart with the desire to be known, to be cherished, to walk with someone in truth, to build what is holy and enduring. But I am against counterfeit bonds that imitate love while stealing your peace. I am against attachments that sound tender but make you restless. Relationships that speak of destiny but pull you into disobedience. Connections that awaken desire but weaken self-control. And voices that say they love you while quietly making you afraid to obey me fully. I do not resist love because I want you lonely. I resist what is false because I want you free. True love carries fruit. It is not only a feeling that rises quickly and burns brightly for a moment. It is patient when the pace must be holy. It is pure when temptation tries to rename compromise as intimacy. It is humble when wisdom asks questions. It is honest when truth is uncomfortable. It is self-controlled when desire wants to run ahead. It prays rather than manipulates. It welcomes accountability rather than hiding in secrecy. It strengthens freedom rather than creating bondage. It does not make you smaller, more anxious, more hidden, more dependent, more spiritually distracted, or more afraid of losing a person than you are of grieving my spirit. As it is written, where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. Do you see, my beloved child? Where my Spirit is truly present, there will be freedom. Not freedom to sin without conviction, but freedom to obey without fear. Freedom to speak truth without being punished by silence. Freedom to keep your boundaries without being accused of being unloving. Freedom to seek counsel without the relationship collapsing under the weight of exposure. Freedom to pray honestly, to wait patiently, to say no when no is holy, and to trust that what is from me will not have to be protected by secrecy, pressure, or fear. If you must lose your peace to keep someone close, that closeness is not the liberty of my spirit. If you must lose your obedience to keep their affection, that affection is not the love I am confirming. Godly love will not demand blindness as loyalty. It will not say, ignore what you see, silence what you discern, excuse what keeps repeating, and call that faithfulness. True love does not need you to become blind in order to prove that your heart is sincere. Godly love will not demand compromise as proof. It will not say, if you really care, you will cross this line, lower this standard, hide this from wise counsel, give what I have not honored, and move faster than peace. True love does not test devotion by asking you to disobey me. Godly love will not demand emotional dependency as devotion. It will not make you feel that you cannot breathe, cannot sleep, cannot pray, cannot be whole, cannot be steady unless that person is near. Love that comes from me may be deep, but it will not become your God. My child, confirmation from me is not the same as obsession. When I confirm, I steady. When I lead, I clarify. When I bless, I do not need confusion to keep you attached. Confirmation from me will align with Scripture. It will not require you to explain away what I have already spoken. It will strengthen your identity, not make you forget who you are in me. It will honor timing, because love that is holy does not panic under delay. It will invite wise counsel, because truth does not fear the presence of those who walk with me. It will deepen surrender, not increase control. It will cause you to say, Lord, your will be done, not, Lord, let me have this, even if I lose myself. There is a kind of connection that makes you think constantly but pray less clearly. There is a kind of attraction that fills your mind but empties your spirit. There is a kind of attachment that makes you call anxiety passion and call unrest proof that something is powerful. But my beloved child, intensity is not always intimacy. Obsession is not confirmation. Fear of losing someone is not the same as love. When a relationship becomes the center of your thoughts, the ruler of your mood, the measure of your worth, and the reason you begin to negotiate with conviction, you must return to me. Return before your heart builds an altar where only a person should have stood. I do not condemn you for hoping. I do not rebuke you for desiring love that is steady, faithful, tender, and true. I know the ache that rises when you wonder whether surrender means you will never be loved. I know the fear that whispers, if I release this, what if nothing better comes? But listen to me. I do not ask you to surrender counterfeit love because I am against your future. I ask you to surrender what steals peace because I am guarding your future. I ask you to release what competes with me because nothing that sits above me can ever satisfy you. I ask you to let go of what makes you afraid to obey because your soul was not created to be ruled by another person's presence or absence. The love I confirm will not require you to lose me, lose yourself, or lose your peace in order to keep it. It will not make holiness feel like a burden. It will not make scripture feel like an enemy. It will not make waiting feel like rejection. It will not make counsel feel like danger. It will not make your boundaries feel like betrayal. It will have room for prayer, room for truth, room for growth, room for patience, room for purity, room for the work I am doing in both hearts. And if something cannot survive my light, my timing, my counsel, and my peace, then do not grieve it as though I have taken your promise. Let it be exposed as mercy. So hope again, but hope with wisdom. Desire love, but do not bow to desire. Open your heart, but keep your heart before me. Do not let fear teach you to cling to what I am asking you to test. I am not closing the door on holy love. I am closing the door on counterfeit bonds that would have trained you to live beneath your calling. Walk in liberty, my beloved child. Where my spirit is, there is freedom, and the love that comes from me will never compete with the God who made you whole. Now bring it back into the light, my beloved child. Bring the relationship, the memory, the desire, the question, the conversation, the silence, the promise you thought you heard, the fear you have been hiding, and the attachment that still pulls on you when no one else can see. Do not bring me only the clean part of your heart. Do not bring me only the part that sounds mature, surrendered, and spiritual. Bring me the part that still wants to check your phone. Bring me the part that wants to send the message just to feel close again. Bring me the part that is embarrassed because you still care. Bring me the part that is afraid to let go because you wonder whether letting go means losing the only love that may ever come near you. I am not surprised by what is inside you. I am not offended by the weakness you confess. The safest place for a confused heart is not another person's attention, but the light of my presence. Do not hide from me the conversations you keep replaying. Do not hide the words they spoke that made you hope. Do not hide the moments when you imagined a future before peace had confirmed the path. Do not hide the fear that if you surrender this to me, I may ask you to release it. My child, I already know. I know every place where your heart has become tangled. I know every question you have been afraid to ask. I know every sentence you almost sent. Every apology you almost made when you had done nothing wrong. Every compromise you almost called patience. Every ache you almost obeyed as though pain itself were instruction. Bring it all before me. Let the whole matter stand in my light. Pause before you move. Pause before you send the message from panic. Pause before you reopen the door because silence feels unbearable. Pause before you make a commitment from loneliness. Before you explain away what I exposed. Before you run back to the place where your peace was slowly leaving you. Not every urge is guidance. Not every ache is a command. Not every absence must be filled immediately. There are moments when your emotions will say, "Do something now," but my spirit will whisper, "Be still." As it is written, "Be still and know that I am God." Stillness is not weakness. Stillness is not passivity. Stillness is where your heart stops being ruled by pressure long enough to hear truth again. Ask me for clean vision, my beloved child. Do not pray only, "Do they want me?" Pray, "Lord, does this honor you?" Do not pray only, "Will they come back?" Pray, "Does this connection produce life?" Do not pray only, "Can this work?" Pray, Can this stand in purity, peace, truth, timing, and obedience? Do not ask merely whether the person is interested. Ask whether their presence draws you nearer to me or farther from me. Ask whether their words strengthen your spirit or awaken unrest. Ask whether the connection makes you more honest, more prayerful, more whole, more free, more submitted, and more grounded in truth, or whether it makes you secretive, anxious, divided, dependent, and afraid of surrender. Clean vision is not the same as getting the answer your emotions prefer. Clean vision is the mercy of seeing what is real, without the fog of fear, fantasy, loneliness, or pressure. Clean vision allows you to say, Lord, even if I desire this, I want truth more. Clean vision allows you to stop calling confusion depth and stop calling inconsistency mystery. Clean vision allows you to recognize when a door is closed, when a bond is unhealthy, when a delay is protection, when a warning is love, and when peace is not absent by accident. As it is written, the entrance of my word gives light. Let my word enter the place where your emotions have been loud. Let my truth shine where hope and fear have become tangled together. And if you need help, do not pretend you are stronger than you are. If you need discernment, ask for prayer. If you need healing from attachment, ask for prayer. If you need strength to release someone, ask for prayer. If you need courage to wait for my peace instead of chasing emotional relief, ask for prayer. There is no shame in needing to be held up while your heart learns to stand again. Leave your prayer request where others can agree with you. Not so that people may carry what belongs to me, but so that you may remember you are not alone in the process of surrender. Let the request be simple. Let it be honest. Pray for my discernment. Pray for my healing. Pray that I will not return to what God has exposed. Pray that I will wait for peace. I see the humility in that. I honor the heart that comes into the light. And as a simple act of surrender, my beloved child, write these words with faith. I choose God's peace over emotional pressure. Write them not as a performance, but as agreement. Write them as a boundary in your own soul. Write them as a declaration that panic will not lead you, loneliness will not rule you, chemistry will not blind you, and fear will not force you back into what I have already brought into the light. Say it slowly. I choose God's peace over emotional pressure. Let those words become a door closing to confusion and a door opening to stillness. Now return to me before you return to them. Return to me before you decide, before you chase, before you answer, before you commit, before you grieve, as though your future has ended. Bring me the whole relationship. Bring me the whole attachment. Bring me the whole hope. If it is from me, it will not be harmed by prayer. If it is from me, it will not be destroyed by truth. If it is from me, it will survive the light. And if it cannot survive the light, then let my light save you from building in darkness. Walk gently now. Walk honestly. Walk in peace, my beloved child. Your heart is safest when it is open before me. So now, my beloved child, let your heart pray with me. Father, calm every storm that has been rising inside this tender heart. Calm the thoughts that have been running ahead of truth. Calm the fear that says, love must be forced before it disappears. Calm the ache that mistakes attention for safety and chemistry for confirmation. Let your peace enter the places where anxiety has been speaking loudly. Let your spirit move over every restless emotion, every unfinished conversation, every confusing attachment, every memory that still pulls, and every desire that has been hard to surrender. Bring the heart back into stillness. Bring the mind back into truth. Bring the soul back into your presence. Lord, expose every counterfeit attachment with mercy, not to shame, not to condemn, not to wound, but to free. Reveal what has been wearing the language of love while producing fear. Reveal what has sounded gentle, but has led into secrecy. Reveal what has awakened desire, but weakened obedience. Reveal what has promised closeness, but produced distance from you. If there is manipulation hidden beneath affection, expose it. If there is control hidden beneath tenderness, expose it. If there is false urgency, emotional pressure, spiritual compromise, or a bond that only survives in darkness, let your light uncover it now. As it is written, you desire truth in the inward parts. So place truth in the inward parts of this heart, even where truth may ache for a moment before it heals. Heal the loneliness, Father. Heal the part that is afraid there will be no one else. Heal the part that clings because silence feels like rejection. Heal the part that keeps returning to old messages, old promises, old moments, and old possibilities because the present feels empty. Remind this heart that emptiness in the hands of God is not abandonment. Remind this heart that a quiet season is not proof of being unloved. Remind this heart that being alone with you is safer than being entangled with someone who pulls the soul away from peace. Fill the places where false comfort used to sit. Restore the places where longing became desperation. Teach this heart to be held by you before it is held by anyone else. Restore wisdom, my beloved child. Let wisdom rise again where emotion became louder than discernment. Let self-control rise again where attraction tried to hurry the timing. Let holy courage rise again where fear tried to make you accept what did not honor me. Let clean vision rise again where fantasy, hope, pain, and pressure became tangled together. May you become sensitive to peace rather than pressure. May you recognize my voice more clearly than the voice of longing. May you know the difference between a door I open and a door your fear keeps trying to push open. May you know the difference between love that steadies and attachment that shakes you. May you know I declare freedom over you from manipulative affection. I declare freedom from anxious attachment. I declare freedom from the fear of being alone. I declare freedom from false urgency, from secret relationships, from hidden compromise, from words that pull you close but actions that leave you unstable. I declare freedom from every bond that made you feel chosen for a moment but confused for days. I declare freedom from every connection that required you to quiet conviction, hide from counsel, rush ahead of peace, or lower the standard I placed within you. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. So receive liberty now. Receive the freedom to wait. Receive the freedom to say no. Receive the freedom to release. Receive the freedom to love without becoming enslaved to the fear of loss. And I bless your tenderness. I do not take it from you. I place wisdom around it. You will love more deeply, but more wisely. You will trust more beautifully, but more slowly. You will open your heart without handing your peace to confusion. You will care without losing yourself. You will desire love without bowing to pressure. You will walk forward without needing chaos to feel wanted, without needing uncertainty to feel chosen, without needing someone's inconsistency to become the measure of your worth. Your heart belongs to me first. And when your heart belongs to me first, no counterfeit connection can rule your peace. Walk in peace, my beloved child. What comes from me will not destroy your peace, and what I withhold is not meant to harm you, but to keep you. What I delay with wisdom. What I remove with mercy. What I reveal for freedom. What I prepare in truth. Stay close to me. Let my peace be louder than emotional pressure. Let my word be stronger than chemistry. Let my presence be the place where your heart learns to rest again. And if this message has helped you return to peace, subscribe for more God-centered discernment messages that help your heart walk in truth. Share this with someone who may be confusing chemistry with confirmation, not to accuse them, but to help them come back into the light. Like this as a sign of agreement that you choose God's peace over emotional pressure. And if you need prayer, leave your request honestly, or write this declaration with faith. My heart belongs to God first. Let it be your surrender. Let it be your boundary. Let it be your peace.